Awokilumo Podcast. I am Balkis Amzad, and I am with my co-host today.
Yes, Oluwakemi Oyedeji, I'm excited to be here, Bakis. How about you?
I am super excited to be doing another day of the Awokilumo Podcast. Thank you so much for joining in. And today, we have another exciting, amazing student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. I am going to leave the floor to Oluwakemi to introduce our honourable guest today. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
All right, Balkis was not exaggerating when she said honorable. That's honorable twice, because indeed our guest today is honorable. She is MVP. She is VVIP. She's no other person than Olubunmi Agnes Dada. She's someone I admire so much. In fact, a lot of us admire her because she's very indefatigable. She's very purpose driven. She's very focused. She's someone that will propel you to success. But I will not say so much of her because I would like her to introduce herself to every one of us this evening. Olubunmi, over to you.
Thank you very much, Balkis. Thank you very much, Oluwakemi and the Awokilumo Republic. My name is Olubunmi Agnes Dada. I have a disability. I'm a person with disability. I have a visual impairment precisely. I'm from Ogun State, a student of the SPPG School of Politics, Policy and Governance Cohort 2024. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olubunmi. The very first time I heard her introduce herself in class, I was wondering, how would this person see the screen? Fine, I know that there are brailles, we do all those kind of things, but I was so curious. She was very attentive. She was asking questions. Would feel that intelligence, the brilliance being in display, the expression of commitment and devotion to governance and policy. Hence, being a student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. Now, Olubunmi, everybody that knows me know that I watch Indian movies. Not because of that, but I just love Indian movies. There's something cool about them. And recently, I watched a movie on Streamcast. The MD CEO of Wally was talking. He said, those that have sight do not dream. It is we that do not have sight that we dream bigger. Haven't heard this. In all fairness, it touched my heart. And I want to ask you, Olubunmi, you're a fulfillment of that statement. You are a big dreamer. You are purpose driven, and you are an unrelenting force. Not just that, you are beautiful, you're an intelligent woman, but in fact, you're a rare gem. If I may ask you, what drives you? What keeps you forging ahead despite your visual disability?
I think that personality rightly said it. When you lose your sight, there are other talents that develop from the inside. I don't think they've been able to research it, but we know it. It's something we cannot really explain. Those talents just develop from the inside, and you begin to find yourself do what people that have sight, virtually thought you can't do. You begin to find yourself. There's a drive. There's a push from the inside that wants you to do more. And I'm going to cite an example. People ask me questions. They're like, when you cook, how do you know that the salt is much, the salt is not much, this one is enough, that one is not? And I'm like, it's not only about the eyes again. In fact, for people that have sight, it's not only about the eyes. I think it's more of the brain. There's a portion of the brain that really tells you these things. There's a portion of the brain that really pushes you. It's a thing from the inside. It is beyond explanation. And for me, back to what drives me. What drives me is the God factor in me. I have an inner strength. I don't want to go too religious here, but let me just leave it as an inner strength. It's that inner strength that really drives me. And my motivation is when I study the word, I draw inspiration from the word of God. Like in my house here, there's a portion of the Bible that I really love so much, and I put it into a wall art. I ordered the form of customized wall art, and I told the designer to put it there. And a part of that Bible portion says, "By my God, I can scale any wall." Another version says, "By my God, I can leap over any wall." So, for persons with disability like myself, there are barriers, societal barriers, cultural barriers. One thing that drives me, one thing tells me from within that, man, you can leap over any form of barrier, and that has been what has propelled me to this point. I see myself leap over those barriers, and I get to this point today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Olubunmi, for that concise response. I really I admire you greatly, and there's nothing to hide about that. I yield the floor over to Balkis to continue with you.
That was a very beautiful answer to a seemingly exciting question, because truly there is always that part of how does these people do it? How does it get easy? How has it been? And that leads me to my question that says, can you share some of your personal experiences, regarding accessibility and inclusivity in Nigeria? So, what are those challenges you have faced because of who you are, and how have you overcome them? Because it's it's a lot to actually live like this and still, aim high, achieve more, do better than even those that do not have anything at all to say is a stopping stone, or I mean is a stumbling block. So the question is, what are those things that you have faced and you have leaped over, like the word of the Bible that you love said?
I love this question. Okay, let me talk about the barriers that we face as persons with disability. One of the barriers is accessibility barriers, cultural, societal. Like according to the United Nations, for the social model of disability, the social model says that, when we talk about hearing impaired, visually impaired, those are just the impairment. So it is not the impairment that disables a man. It is the barriers that the society place in his way that disables him. And those barriers are accessibility, societal, cultural, institutional. Cultural barriers are those barriers that believe that if you have a disability, it's as a result of your sin or the sin of your parents, and as a result, you are not entitled to some things in the society. So you're not entitled to education. Some parents that have persons with disability believes that they cannot go to school because what does he want to do in school? What does he want to read in school and all those things? And I'm going to use myself examples. Yeah, as an example, yes, those barriers were there. But one of the things that helped me to really make headway to leap over some of these barriers, I will start with my parents. I'm a very so fortunate to have loving, fantastic parents, father and mother. Like as a child, I got blind as a child, and we went through series of surgery and all the rest. And along the line, my doctor then was a German doctor, and he called my dad, and he told my dad that this girl will need to go to school because after all this surgery, nothing is working. And my dad believed it, took me to school, and some of the family members did not believe. When I come home for holidays, he will take his Bible, I read my braille alongside, and he was so proud of me. But some family members will say, it's a lie. She crammed it. It's something she crammed. They teach them by heart and all those things. Up to I finished primary school, some of them still did not believe, but I have a parent that believes in me, and they gave me all the support that I needed. So that way, I was able to cross the barrier of she cannot go to school. I crossed that barrier. And when it came to the issue of accessibility, when we talk about accessibility, okay, like in my primary school, we learned how to read braille. I learned typewriting, so that way we could communicate with the outside world. In my secondary school, I was the best student in WAEC. Then after university and all the likes, coming to learn the computer, by God's grace, I crossed over that barrier too. because of that inner strength and support from my family as well. I'm the first child, and my daddy made every other sibling to understand that this girl has a challenge, we must support her. So everybody supported me. All hands were on deck. They gave me that support. Some of the members of the extended family too supported me, those that believed in me, and somehow I got a job. When I got the job as well, because of this force, people believing, they were able to get all the things I need to work with, my screen reader to make it easy on the computer. So that way, I could also communicate like others. I could do what others are doing. We're talking about how do I read the screen at that time. This is part of the accessibility we're talking about. So I have a screen reader. It's called JAWS, JAWS, Job Access with Speech. It's installed on my system, both at work and on my personal laptop as well. So with this screen reader, whatever you can see on the screen, this screen reader reads out that screen to me. Like I'm working on Microsoft, I'm working on Excel, I'm working on my email. It reads the screen, it interprets what you see on the screen to me. So that's way. And presently, we still have our challenges as well. The barriers are still there, but we thank God that if you can get this far, then we can leap over others. And I think I'd like to stop from there. Thank you.
That was a very beautiful answer. And I realized that you have come so far, and I love the acknowledgement that you gave to dad. So dad, wherever it is that you are right now, thank you so much for giving us this awesome personality and for making sure that she is capable of, sharing that story and making it happen today. We are glad that this story was not complete without your
Exactly.
name being mentioned. My God, that was a very
Yeah.
beautiful one. So, when all of this happened, right? When all of this happened, how well do you feel that people with disabilities are represented in Nigerian politics? Even in decision making bodies, because I was a part of a program at the point. We had many people with disabilities. That Yaga program when was in Abuja. We had an amputee. We had a number of people, and the thing that goes on in the minds of those people was mind blowing. But how much representation do you think that they have in the Nigerian decision making bodies or even politics?
Yeah, the representation is very, very low. As far as I can say, the representation is very, very low. Even for a lot of people that are really striving to get to that level, they are being deprived. Back to these barriers and the belief of our people, cultural, societal, and the representation is very, very low. Like when I was to move from my parents in 2019 as a result of the distance, I work in Marina to Ota. I was doing that every day. Wake up 3:30 a.m. There was a time I was coming back from work and I had an accident. This accident happened 2 weeks to my travel. In fact, I carried bandage to Heathrow. I didn't know they won't even turn me back, but it's okay. So at that point, I decided that I won't, when I was moving in here, I don't know, but I wasn't discouraged. I took my decision. I'm here today. I remember somebody asked a question: how will you survive here? How will you do this? And I've been able to challenge a whole lot of people. When I was coming, one thing I told myself, I said, Bumi, I'm going to prove a point to the world. And that was it. I came in here, I've been able to prove a point that I can stay on my own, can do everything on my own. But still, we need more of this support. The representation is very low. Coming to politics, I can't even factor the percentage for election, voting, and all those things. For persons with disability, like in the last election, there were no braille ballot papers. So you have to depend on a sighted person to help you, and you don't know what can happen in between. They will go and do the wrong thing. Maybe you want to vote for this party, and the other person is a member of another party. You know what that means.
Yes.
Unlike if there are facilities to that effect, I'll be able to cast my vote on my own line. In the next, like, because of that, I didn't vote. Because I can't imagine somebody voting. I decided not to vote until it is correct, until we're well represented. We're not well represented. The percentage is so low. Thank you.
Wow, that was a very good one. That was a very very good one. So you did not vote because this happened, and all of the many things that you have actually cited as an example. My question is, what steps can be taken to ensure better, advocacy and representation at all government levels for people with disabilities?
About advocacy, I know a lot of people are in that space. People are really advocating, but it's just that our voice is not well heard, or that people, or that our government is just turning deaf ears. And coming back to the election processes, when INEC is trying to do these things, they should always get our people involved, because these are the people that are feeling the heat. Get them involved. Like for the braille ballot papers and all the other facilities, involve people that have this visual impairment. They will come and do the test and everything, but they'll go and put the wrong people there, and those ones will just take decisions that will not affect the main people. For advocacy, people are really trying, from what I know. But we need more advocacy. We need more of this. Probably, if you can come on social media, um, our radio stations, TV stations, put up like a jingle. I know there's a particular radio station that has a jingle for this, but this jingle talks about the roadsides. Don't crush them down. When you see a man with a white cane, try and wait for him and all the rest. That's at least to that effect, they've really tried. But we need more advocacies talking about elections, voting, employment. We need more noise to be made. We still need more.
Wow, wow. I love that. I've never heard of radio station and all of that, but I think it's a very good one for us to actually, get in and get deep into this conversation more. So, but there is something I would also like to actually question as we go through this. There is something I would like to question, right? What does citizenship mean to you? Because one of the things we are doing here at SPPG is, becoming, understanding the office of the citizen, and also making sure that it works through us as the people. So, what does citizenship mean to you?
Citizenship to me means equal participation of every citizen in governance. I may not be the president, I may not be the state governor, right? But as a person born in Nigeria, citizenship means full participation by doing the right thing, by obeying the law, total obedience to the law of the land, and then giving everybody a free hand to participate in governance, irrespective of their status, irrespective of their disability in the society. To me,
Yes,
that is
yes.
citizenship. And then
Mm.
citizenship also means to me enjoying the basic, all the social amenities, enjoying electricity, enjoying road, enjoying having access to employment as a citizen, having access to good health as a citizen. Citizenship to me does not mean that there should be one hospital for the poor, and whether you are poor, you are rich, as long as you are a citizen, you have equal access to life. Everybody should be treated equally. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much,
That's
Olubunmi.
that's a
I love
very
the way you
beautiful
explained.
one. Thank you so much for answering to that question. Thank you. But do you think that Nigerians currently are citizens? Are we actually acting like citizens of this country?
Balkis, that's a very good question. Oh. A lot of people are being deprived. Many people are not being treated as citizens. You begin to wonder, if I can't enjoy my country, then where do I belong? If in my own country I'm still living as a stranger, if in my country I don't have rights, I don't have my right is not being protected. I don't have good health facilities. I'm going to say something. Anytime I enter the United Kingdom today, once I land Heathrow, I become the property of the government. So I land the airport at Heathrow. That special care, people, you begin to see that special care. You begin to, all hands are on there. From the immigration, going home, people book my taxi. They ask, where are you going? Where is she going to? And they book my taxi. I have access to the bus, the train. I gain support from every individual. Once I carry that white cane is a sign. That white cane is a sign of respect. Any car driver see me with that hand, with the white cane, we have to stop for me to cross, which I don't even get to enjoy in my own country. We're not there yet. Thank you. That's all I want to say. I don't want to talk too much. We're not there yet.
I am going to say I very much agree. We are not there yet. And the fact that, people do not even, lend hands when they can, they don't see any reason to actually, like, give up some things in that situation shows that we are not there yet. And I'd say thank you so much for actually shedding light on what that looks like even for you.
There's this
Yes.
inhumanity towards human as well.
Okay.
Like maybe someone, like for instance, if somebody with a disability wants to contest now, you hear statement like, people were not in the do say, they never get them. Now you won't come get them. You know,
Absolutely.
that's
Yes.
that's being
Hello?
inhuman. And for me, when I hear such, I push back.
Hello?
Of
Like,
course.
can
Hello?
you imagine? People ask, okay, I'm not even saying it's not right for you to ask questions. It's right to
Hello?
ask questions, but when you ask questions, you know, be how do I put it now? People ask questions like, how does she do her makeup? And people that are close to me are like, she does her makeup herself. And someone says it's a lie. How can you say it's a lie?
It's the way the
So do you
bias came
get
out.
my point?
Yes.
So,
Right. I absolutely get what you're saying. I really do get it. And, getting that particular thing makes, when you said you push back whenever these things happen or when these words are spoken, I actually realized that it's not just it. I think it's differently with people with disabilities, because even people that do not have disabilities, when some things are said to us, it just drops down your morale. And now, a person that knows that, oh yes, this is something that I am not even comfortable with, and one person out there is using that as a tool to belittle them. So I very much understand the
mm,
pushing back part of things. So now I feel like there is this question that I am being pressed to ask, and that is, what barriers do people with disabilities, what they face in participating in governance and political processes, and how do you think that they can be addressed? Aside from the words that people say and all of that, even in the party system, even in all of the systems surrounding governance and policies and politics, how do you think we can actually make room or we can address the issues of participation for people with disabilities, so that we can ensure more like a very much inclusive governance?
I think the first part to address it is more awareness. We need to create more awareness to change our belief system. If our
Mm,
belief system is being changed, persons with disability will be accepted in the political process. Then, secondly, the issue of voting should be addressed. And then, thirdly, like I said, once the belief system is being changed, more persons with disability will be able to join political parties, without fear of being discriminated, without fear of being judged. They're able to contribute their own quota to whichever political party they join. And that way they will be able to assume roles. Because of the change in belief system, we will see more persons with disability come up to say, I want to contest as local government chairman. I want to contest as councillor, because the belief system has been changed and nobody will say, you people want to vote for a blind person. Let me use the word they will use. Sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba. You know that what they say. You want to vote for a lame person. You want to vote for a
Yeah.
once that awareness is there and that belief system has been changed, you will see that things begin to take shape. And another thing, more of
So
us too. Despite all these barriers, we should not even look that side. More of us should come out. Those of us
Hello?
that love politics should come
Hello?
out and join politics. For me, I'm not intending to contest. I would like an appointment, not. I don't like anything campaign. So, thank you.
wow, that's very beautiful. Tell me, how about you go on from here?
All right. Thank you so much. I was very interested to know if Olubunmi will be running for politics, but she has answered my query already. Sincerely speaking, Olubunmi, it is very apparent and very obvious that you have a very low representation in governance or in government in Nigeria. It's sad to hear that when you step out of your country, when you get to another country, Kingdom precisely, you are like a queen. You are treated like a royalty, and everybody pays attention to you. Whereas in your homeland, you do not enjoy that kind of privilege. It is really sad. Let's call a spade a spade. I hope to see, and I want to believe for as many that are in support of this, hope to see that one day we are going to see people with disability in any form in government. That is my hope that someday, very soon, because you cannot give what you don't have. If we do not feel your pain, we cannot be creating policies for you. It is not relatable. We have to feel your pain. We have to have gone through what you go through before we can be forming or creating or suggesting things that we could imbibe as policies that can favor you to an extent. So well done, Olugumi. My question
Thank you very
is,
much.
even though you are not running for a political role very soon, or maybe never, although they say never, my question, however, here
Yes.
is why SPP? Why the School of Politics, Policy and Governance?
Why SPPG? Firstly, I want to know the truth about what is going on, which I've been able to know. From this 10 months journey, I've been able to know the truth. Secondly, like I said, I'll prefer an appointment. I love policy making. Coming to the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, I believe it will give me room to join the body of policy makers. Policy, not just to make the policies, because these policies are there, but implementation, we lack implementation. So, to be able to enforce that these policies are being implemented is the policy making thing that really drove me to join SPPG, not to run for any maybe presidency or local government chairman. I prefer policy making. I want to come in as a policy maker to make policies. If there's a need to change some, we change some. But however, both the present and the new policies need to be implemented, and that is the implementation that we lack. And that is what has driven me to join SPPG. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olubumi. Now, my next question would be, what is your take on state policy? State policing in the context of security. For some time now, we can,
Oh, oh, oh,
according
oh,
to
oh, oh, oh.
statistics, yes, according to statistics, there is this belief or a conclusion, yeah, that the police force is not, the number of the police force is not enough to be able to secure our country. So every state is being suggested to them to imbibe or embrace state policing so that they can have their own police first, to support the security system of the country. Because the insecurity in
Oh, now
Nigeria
I
is,
get.
is heightened. So what's your opinion on that? Do you think it's something that can work?
Now I get. Now I get. Now I get. I thought we're talking about tax forcing and all the rest. Okay,
Oh,
now I
thank you
get the
so much.
point. Yes, state policing would be a very good approach, because talking about one federal policing for Nigeria will not is not from what we are saying now, like you said, it's not sufficient. It's not sufficient. That's one. Even the police, they are not really well educated about what security is all about. Police are meant to be our friends. But in the Nigerian context, police are our enemies. I'm sorry to say. So state policing is very, very important. It really helps with these security issues that we have. If each, apart from the federal police, let each state have their own police system and let them work, let them have their own, let them design their own way of working, you know, their initiative of what they want security in that particular state should be all about. It depends on the security issue in each state. Like in Lagos State now, if you consider the security issue in Lagos State, we now design our state policing in such a way that they're able to meet the needs of security. Like in the up north, where we have very deep cases of security issue, they can also come up with their own ways to design their own initiative of handling security issues. So state policing would be a very welcomed idea. Yes, it's really work. It really help
All right.
because
Thank you
the
so
one
much.
police system, the federal police, they have been exhausted. Yes, and overwhelmed.
I mean, thank you very much, Olubunmi, for your time and for answering all our questions very intelligently and very concisely. We really appreciate you for honoring our invitation. And on this note, I yield the floor to Valky so she rounds up for us.
Okay.
We had a very short, exciting, and value filled session with you. Thank you so much, Olubunmi, for taking the time to show up here, for taking the
Thank
time
you.
to give yourself to us, answering our questions, you know, just
It's my
going with the
great
flow.
pleasure.
Because if it was something that you had prepared for, I would have said, since it is scripted, so it should be like this. But you
Exactly.
gave every single thing its value. Thank you so much. And on behalf of the Awokilumo Nation, on behalf of the Awokilumo Welfare Community, on behalf of the Awokilumo Podcast, and every single person out there who gets to listen to this beautiful episode of the Awokilumo Podcast, we say thank you for showing up. Thank you for doing your
Thank
best
you.
to get to this point where you
Thank
can share your
you.
story and inspire others to make more out of their situation. And thank you for becoming the best version of yourself, despite all of the hurdles you had to leap over. We are grateful, and we hope that the next time we get to call you, you are going to be able to show up or willing to show up for us at the Awokilumo Nation.
Yeah, 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 yes. Very
All
much
right.
willing.
We say thank you so much again for listening to this episode of the Awokilumo podcast. We are grateful to have your ears. We are glad that you're going to pick one lesson or the other from this. And if you have anybody who is a person with disability of any kind, send this to them and show it to them that there is capability in their inabilities. And Olubumi is a living testimony and a living review that once you put your mind to it, you are able to get it done. And with this, I say thank you so much, everyone, for listening again. Do not forget to find any of these episodes on our Spotify, the Awokilumo Podcast, on our YouTube channel, the Awokilumo Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter too, the Awokilumo Nation. But whichever way you try to find us, we are always going to be there to share with you our best self. And as we are rolling into 2025, the School of Politics, Policy and Governance is already taking admission for the next cohort. Be a part of this. Be a part of it. It's one of the tickets to get into this room that we are in right now. So do not forget the sppg.org. That's where you can find every information you need to actually join the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. And until the next time we get to bring to you another amazing student of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, I remain Balkis Amzat with my beautiful co-host, Oluwakemi Oyedeji.
God bless
God
Nigeria.
bless Nigeria and God bless all of our